Hey everybody, great to have you back here in the fish tank. As always, I've got an update for you regarding Minion Masters and the future of it. If you've been following along, you know that the current patch 2.9 was our latest content patch, our latest and last. So the last new card is the Revenant, and the last two new perks that were added will be the last in the foreseeable future. But what does that mean going forward? But as we discussed before, there's still going to be monthly patches, but these are going to be balance patches. And the balance patches are going to be driven by the community. So as we'll see shortly, we'll go through an announcement from the devs that explain this. But basically, you go to the Minion Masters Discord and you can submit balance changes that you think are appropriate. And then the community can vote. Do they like this? Do they not? And then at the end of the month, we'll get them all together. And we have a sort of an overseeing council to look at them. And the reason we do that is to make sure that they're sensible, because a lot of newer players have ideas of balance, which is not bad, but they don't really understand the game in enough of a way to make potentially the best decisions. So we'll have a look at it from that point of view, but also we can only have small, simple balance changes. There's not too many development resources available to make these changes, so we can't have huge overworks, reworks of things. Just simple things. So we're going to have a look at, are these changes sensible and are they doable? But anyway, without any further ado, let me just remind you to like, comment and subscribe if you're enjoying the Fish Tank content. And let's have a look at the update. And of course, you can look at the update yourself in the Minion Masters Discord. Check the description. There'll be a link in there. Okay, so this is their post, which was a few days ago. So from Flamey. So, following our previous announcement and our last new content update, here is an overview of what will change from now on. So, as I said just now, you can suggest and vote for balance changes in the game. Head into the Discord, how to suggest change, and start sending your suggestions. Each month, we'll release an update that includes up to 25 of the most popular suggested changes. Now, interestingly, the devs have given us stuff that they haven't in the past, and that's an overview, a spreadsheet of the win rates of masters, of master perks, and of cards. So that gives us a better insight into what is overperforming based on what the game is seeing so far. We also have my meta overview, but that's kind of going to be a little bit limited this season because the leaderboards that we get our data from were broken for, I don't know, a week or so, where they weren't updating, so there was no data that we could get from that. So we're going to have a spreadsheet from the devs that maybe we'll look at in another video or something, but not only is that going to show win rate, but it'll also show us play rate as well, so we can see if things are being played a lot and won a lot, then that's obviously a big issue. Things that are not being played much but winning a lot may be an issue, maybe not. But anyway, so that's what's going to happen with regards to the balance going forward. On the in-game moderation side of things, Flamey says, we'll still handle bans, but we'll rely more on reports from the game rather than reports here or via support. So please don't hesitate to use the report function in the game. We will only handle support related to real money purchases on the email support. So support@BetaDwarf.com. Only email them if you've got a problem with actual purchases that you've made with real money. Otherwise, that will not go through. The season pass will continue, and it will still include new reskins for at least the upcoming 6 months. So a reskin is like a recolor. It's an existing skin with a different color variation, which there's a lot of them in the game. A lot of the recent skins have been awesome. People are not so familiar, not so fond of the reskins, but it's still a new skin if you're collecting them. And sometimes the skins do look way better when you reskin them. They said here we've also increased the content for the premium season pass, so you get 100% more tokens and more cards from all rarities, and you can still access their FAQ, which I think we went through in a previous video. But of course, if you want to check this out for yourself, you can. And as Disu just reminded me in the chat, because we're live on Twitch at the moment, if you're suggesting these balance changes in the Discord, please read the instructions. Please submit them in the appropriate format so the bot can handle them, or they'll just get ignored. Right, so that's what's going to happen, but is the game going to continue? And if so, for how long? Well, so what's next? Basically, the servers will stay open as long as the game generates enough revenue to sustain them. So previously, they've had FDM and Entropy as full-time devs working on the game. They are no longer, unfortunately, with BetaDwarf. So they have moved on, but they will still be available for a certain time each month, like 8 hours each or something, so that they can make these changes for the balance. But of course, with those 8 hours a month, they've got to do the balance changes, they've got to do the testing of them, they've got to fix any sort of really critical bugs that need fixing. So and they've also got to like build all the files and do, so there's a lot that they have to do in those eight hours. So that's basically why we can only have simple balance changes. Right, so we've made many server adjustments to reduce the costs as much as possible. So as I was saying, since FDM and Entropy are no longer working there full time, the sort of the overall costs of the game have dropped substantially. So they've reduced the cost as much as possible, hopefully making it possible for the game to stay up. So what they're saying is they won't make any profits from the game. All the money earned from the game will go into keeping the game running. So X amount per month, and we'll look at that in a bit more detail in a second. If they make any money over that, they'll sort of bank that, and then that'll be that'll put towards the next month, and so on and so forth. So as long as the game makes enough money, it will continue. But how much is enough money? Well, they've said many times that they're going to give us some info regarding how much it costs, so we can have a look at the progress of it. Is it doable? Is it possible? And they delivered on it. It took a long time, but there's a spreadsheet here. And again, I'll put a link in the description of the video so you can see this. So basically, the game is going to cost about $3,200 a month. So if the game makes $3,200 a month, it pays for itself. If it doesn't, then it could be a problem. If it makes more than $3,200 a month, then some money will be set aside to roll over to the next month. It'd be interesting to hear from you guys in the comments. Let me know, what do you think? Is this $3,200 figure higher than you expected? Lower than you expected? For me, it's higher than expected. They haven't sort of granularly broke it down into any specific figures. We've just got an overall one. But of course, how much it costs per month is only one side of it, right? We need to know how much the game is making. So I spoke to the devs, and they kindly told me that in October, I think, the game made $10,000, which I was surprised about, and obviously that's a lot higher than the 3,200. So that's a promising kind of thing, right? If that continues, the game will continue for long. But what we've got to remember, though, is that there's going to be some changes that may reduce that. So, you know, the future of the game is undecided, so people might be less willing to spend on a game like that. Also, there's no new content in sort of new cards or new perks, stuff like that. So that might put people off spending money, might put people off getting the battle pass, because maybe, especially for experienced players, there might not be too much in there that they're going to get. So I would expect that revenue to fall. But yeah, as I did say, there will be the reskin. So there is new content if you're talking about a specific reskin each month. So there is something. And hopefully they will also recycle a lot of the avatars and emotes and stuff like that, which have historically been really difficult to get hold of. We know that the Minion Masters shop, has been kind of awful. And that might be one of the main reasons that we got to this situation. But yeah, that's where we are. The game made $10,000 in October, and it needs to make $3,200 going forward. One of the other things to mention is the game won't be having these free DLCs. And you might think, why are they giving away these free DLCs all the time? Isn't that just costing them money? Well, the free DLCs were more of a marketing tool. You know, Steam would give them promotions based on this free DLC, and it would, you know, people like to see free stuff, even though we know that the DLC, it didn't include like the new cards and stuff like that. It was just sort of stuff that could be obtained elsewhere. So that's where we're at. And basically, as a community, we can decide whether we want the game to continue. I'm still playing it. I'm having a lot of fun with a Sniper Mordor deck in solos this season. And I do think if we can nail the balancing process, if we can do a good job with it, because the community always complains about some of the balance changes. Now you can have your say, and you can guarantee, unfortunately, that most of the people that complain about the balance changes won't lift a finger to get involved and have their say. But, you know, that's fine. People can do or not do whatever they want to do. But hopefully, as a community, we can come together and have some good balance changes. And that's really going to be the core. And there's going to be no new cards to shake up the meta, which can be good, can be bad. You know, we've had some terrible cards in the form of the Wartrack Dreadnought, Mana Chasers, things like that have completely decimated the meta by being horrifically overpowered. So we don't need to worry about that. And Fault in the chat says we've only got limited number of changes, but I think 25 changes, if you use that on the things that are most powerful, then... Because, of course, you've got two options, right? If things are too strong, you can either make the things that are too strong weaker, or you can make everything else stronger. But, of course, making everything else stronger is massively time-consuming, right? Just go for make the thing that's too strong weaker. And hopefully that will have enough of an effect to change up the meta. And we're talking about not only masters, but master perks and cards. Maybe we'll look in another video, or if you're here in the stream, we're going to have a look at some of the data to see what is overperforming in terms of our experience this season, and also in terms of what the stats are showing from the devs. And hopefully that can give us an idea. But yeah, that's just giving you an update. Hopefully this is overall good news. 3,200 seems like quite a lot, but the 10,000 that it's making seems kind of positive. So, as I said, as a community, we've got a chance here to keep it going if we want to. So that means supporting the game, playing the game. You know, playing the game is the most basic way you can keep playing. Keep supporting it. Keep the game playing. Keep the game active. Keep the Steam numbers up. You know, try to encourage more people to play. And if you want to support the game, then of course do so. The problem comes with a lot of the experienced players, the veterans. They don't really have anything that they need for the game. You know, they've got most of the skins, the avatars, stuff like that. They've got all the cards. So it's kind of... I mean, what I would suggest they do, if they want to support the game, just buy rubies. It's kind of awkward buying rubies but not being able to have anything to buy from them. But the value you're getting from it is supporting the game that you potentially love. It would be better if there was something you could get from it. But that is where we are. So anyway, let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'm still fairly positive about this. We'll see how long we can keep this going. And good news, we've got a tournament coming up soon. Again, keep your eye out for that information. Whether or not it'll be the last tournament, I don't know. But BetaDwarf have given us some money for it, so that's good. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. My name's Bad as a Fish, and I'll see you again soon here in the fish tank. Okay,